So the thing about Yves is that he always has such a pleasant demeanor, and he always sort of half chuckling. I'm wondering sometimes, is it because he just doesn't think this all thing is so serious, or he just has such a great time doing what he's doing? I think it's a combination of both. I think what we do is important as Peace Corps volunteers and as staff to support volunteers. But I don't think we need to take it as serious as we sometimes take it. It doesn't need to be as stressful. And you can clearly tell that never got to Yves, so that when people would approach him, when volunteers would approach him, he would have that welcoming, jovial demeanor, so that they knew that he was enjoying himself, enjoying what he was doing. And I think that enjoyment translated into showing that he cared.
I was born in Port Novo 60 years ago. It was in 1956. My dad had like 3 wives, my mom and 2 other wives. We were 7 in the family, and like 4 boys and 3 girls. And we were all at school. We were all at school, despite the fact that my father was, a simple carpenter. But he decided to send us to school. I came to Toudonou for university, where I studied English, American literature, American study mostly. And I went to Niger for my first year in Niamey first for 2 years. And then I have been moved to the northern part of Niger, and I was in Zender for like 3 years as a teacher. And from Niger, I came back to Benin. And I was here, just doing nothing. And I decided to go to Nigeria. I was in Nigeria teaching French for 1.5 years. And then I came back, and I heard that Peace Corps Benin is recruiting people for language training. I said, what is that? But I sent in my application. And I was, one of the 12 candidates. And it was September 1988.
Something very interesting, a story that I have about Yves. It goes back to when I was hired as a program manager for Peace Corps. So I had a colleague at PSI who actually participated in a training with Yves, and he was like, "Hey, I know Yves. When you go to Peace Corps, go and see Yves. He's a good guy. He's the best person I can recommend to you." And then my first day at Peace Corps, I met Yves, and I was definitely, welcomed as if we had been friends forever. He hugged me, said, "Hey guy, welcome. You are one of the members of our family, and you with us, don't worry, everything is going to be okay, everything is going to be fine." And I wouldn't have imagined, a better welcome. And since like 7 years that I have been working for Peace Corps, I have been experiencing that, that joie de vivre during my interactions with Yves.
I will miss his institutional memory. He's been here so long, he's worked in many different capacities, and he can speak fluently to many, many different positions at Peace Corps.
I've been with Peace Corps for all my life. Actually, I joined Peace Corps in '88. We were in a training for like 2 weeks to select a language facilitator. And that was it. I started right in September that year. And second year after that, my contract became cross-cultural coordinator and language trainer. So I had both responsibilities. So since that period, never misses a PST. And then I became homestay person. I was the one to select host families for new PCTs, and I did that like for 3-4 years. And then the next position was the training manager, Peace Corps training manager, and I was in charge of the overall management of the training staff for like 5 years again, and then left that position. Went back as cultural resource person and logistic coordinator for all Peace Corps Benin training events. I was in that position for like 3 years before getting appointed as program manager for said program.
So what I will miss most about Yves, he is our elder statesman. He is the best master of ceremonies that I've seen in a long time, and he is the MC for all our Peace Corps events. I will miss that.
What I enjoy mostly talking about Peace Corps Benin is swearing periods, swearing time. You can see volunteers ready to serve. I mean, ready to go for an adventure. And maybe some of them don't know much about what is waiting for, what they're expecting to happen there. But they're ready to go and they're swearing. I'm ready to serve 2 years. It's amazing.
My favorite and most touching Yves memory was when he came to Avrancu during my 2-week site visit during stage. I was having a horrible site visit. My French was awful and I couldn't understand anything anyone was saying to me. I felt really homesick for the first time, and to make everything even worse, I got sick not once, but twice. Needless to say, I didn't immediately love my village, and I was seriously questioning if I could live there for 2 whole years. However, Yves came about a week and a half into my site visit to check in, and his encouragement and positivity made me feel much better. This is just one of many examples where Yves has supported me and my fellow SED volunteers simply by being positive and uplifting, and we will all miss his cheerful personality.
I'm in the field, seeing what volunteers are doing on a daily basis. It alerts my life. I mean, from the scratch, volunteers can change a community life. So while being there, seeing them working, you feel proud of someone that made his way all from the US, where everything is, and decided to be in a small village.
So I think Yves is one of the staff members who really value volunteers' contribution and acknowledge the good work they are doing, and his door is always open.
I guess my best Yves story is that day one of arriving in Toudonou and interviewing with our PMs, Yves had asked if it was my first time in Africa, to which I replied no, I spent some time in Ghana. He asked what I learned there and I said Azonto. He looked puzzled and said, the dance? And I said, yes, I'll show you. So I got up and performed the Azonto dance for Yves and T-Burst, and we all laughed. From the day on, he always referred to me as ma fille, and I referred to him as Papa Yves. Every time I am in Toudonou, I stop by his office because I know a hug is waiting for me.
Oh, yes. I enjoy dancing. I mean, every African dance. I enjoy dancing salsa. I'm one of the best dancers in my family. So the traditional dance, perfect. Nothing to say. I mean, modern, yes. I mean, you see me performing very well. I can dance. And I enjoy listening to music. While I'm driving or traveling, I just enjoy listening to any kind of music. I can go from American music to French music to Spanish music to African music. I just enjoy music.
If you want to see him go to a party, he loves dancing. He can really dance more than a young person. All the parts of his body are really good for dancing.
I will miss his fashion style when he shows up on Fridays with his great boomba and matching hat.
When it comes to staff, as a staff member, if you are looking for something to eat, you better go to Yves' office, because you're sure 100% that you will find something to eat.
What I'll be missing from Yves is that, he's usually called here in the office our garde-à-manger, like he's our food keeper. And I love food, so every morning when I need tea, coffee, when I need sugar or honey. He has everything. So I am definitely going to miss that a lot.
He's amazing. I will miss him greatly.
I'll just miss his sense of humor and his willingness to be part of the team and just his overall flexibility. And we wish him all the best.
I will definitely miss Yves. Somebody to say hi each morning, give you a big hug. I will miss that. I will miss that definitely. And my coffee too.
Peace Corps life as a whole, it's a family life. You feel like home.
Yes, he's really a grand frère here. You can, without Yves here, Peace Corps will be definitely different because he's somebody you can go to when you need to talk, you need to get advice, you need just a confident, somebody who can really, you can trust to give you good advice.
I mean, I'm a product of Peace Corps. That's it. That's it. And the next part is that I enjoy my work. The kind of work that I've been doing for Peace Corps, I just love it. That was why I kept it, and I stay. I owe Peace Corps, really.
Mr. Yves, on his retirement, I send my personal congratulations to him, and really I extend my personal thanks on behalf of Peace Corps as an agency and on behalf of Peace Corps Benin as a team and as a family and as a unit. The special thing that Yves brought to Peace Corps has been always his personal belief in the goodness of other people and his very deep belief in the mission of Peace Corps and belief that if you show up every day with a positive attitude, if you show up every day with a fundamental belief in the ability of other people to achieve and to learn, that people can do better and people gain from that. And so many people, volunteers and staff, have gained from being around Yves. We have gained from being on his team, and we've gained from his leadership in this agency. And I, for one, am very grateful for that, and I know that my colleagues are as well. On behalf of all the volunteers, all the staff, Yves, many congratulations on your retirement.